This is U.S. immigration attorney Sharifa Tharp. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions here on a Friday. Go ahead, if you are on, put your questions in the comments. You can start putting your questions in the comments from now, so I can answer those questions. So, there are a few updates. There's a lot going on. So now what's happening is there has been a proposal in Congress. So Senator Rand Paul has put in a proposal for a constitutional amendment to end birthright citizenship. So and yes, the Constitution is what dictates birthright citizenship. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and the only way to change that is through a constitutional amendment. The good thing is that the advantage here is that the constitutional amendment is extremely hard to do. So it's going to require basically two-thirds of Congress, and in this time where they can hardly agree on anything that's good for us, um, that is going to be an uphill battle. And then, in addition to that, it still has to be ratified by two-thirds of the states of the United States. So um, it's not something that's going to happen overnight. That's for sure. And it would have to they would have to work to garner the support. It would have to be bipartisan support from Democrats and Republicans. And the reason why I think he's making this move now is because the Supreme Court, during the oral arguments, they were skeptical about ending birthright citizenship. So it's there. They have people have a hunch that they are not. We don't want to talk too fast, but based on their line of questioning, their skepticism, the Supreme Court may not end birthright citizenship. And so we have Senator Rand Paul, who now has proposed an amendment to the actual Constitution. But as I said before, that's very hard to do. I'll keep you posted though as we continue. The Supreme Court also heard oral arguments about TPS, ending TPS for Haitian citizens. And now the thing about it is the district court has um, basically extended TPS. We have the Court of Appeals, who I believe has extended TPS. And then now it's gone to the Supreme Court. Historically, the Supreme Court has allowed the president to terminate TPS. They have, because it is it is usually under normal circumstances, it's sort of like a discretionary type of benefit granted by the president. However, in this case, what the argument is, which I agree with, is there's some discriminatory intent that's not justifying discriminatory intent. And furthermore, it is not those countries that, first of all, Haiti is not stable enough to send individuals back. Right now, it's the government is in disarray, and there's a lot of instability. People are being targeted down there, and so they cannot be sent back. It's not safe for them, and so we have to see under these arguments whether the Supreme Court will make another decision. Historically, though, they have found that the president can end TPS. So those decisions will likely come out around June, July. So we'll have to look out for those decisions, and hopefully, it's going to be a decision that's going to um, help people to stay secure and be able to live in safety. Thanks so much for the love on TikTok. I really appreciate it. So now I'm going to take questions. So put your questions in the comments. The other thing that has happened is that they have, so President Trump has now signed into the bill that was proposed to fund ICE. I believe 70 billion now has been allocated for the funding of ICE. So get ready because they're not going to use that money for fluff. They're not using it to necessarily make life easier for immigrants. That 70 billion is there as a resource to fuel the mass deportation agenda, the mass detention agenda. And so we had a little stall. They were not funded. ICE was not funded for a while. Now it's funded again and is backed by $70 billion. So that's good. That's to tell you that they have no resources to do widespread enforcement again. So get ready for a ramp up in the enforcement again, and I'll keep you posted on that as we see what happens. All right. Questions. Did T visa biometrics November 2024? Nothing yet. Can the case be expedited? Uh, if you're outside of case processing times, look at uscis.gov, go to case processing times, and then look at the processing times for the T visa I-914 form. If you're outside of that process, then yes, an expedite may be possible. Would driving or flying from South Texas to Orlando for a vacation with someone with pending asylum, that you have to think about the individual risk. So the risk is never zero when you're flying. And so that individual who has a pending asylum, do they have any issues in their background, any past arrests, criminal records, past removal order? Then that increases the risk for sure. We're located in Delray Beach, Florida, and we represent clients in all 50 states and the globe. Should I go to oath ceremony on Monday? So it's if you are the person getting U.S. citizenship, you should be going to your oath ceremony. So I don't know if that's a question. No, if you are going as a guest to watch somebody else and you are, you know, you don't have your papers, of course, you don't want to show up there. I don't know, I'm not your attorney, but walking into the middle of the USCIS with no papers or compromised in a compromised situation can put you at an increased risk. My friend has withholding of removal and he's been detained for a year and 4 months. What will happen? So in this case, I don't know your friend's case, but if they have withholding of removal, it's a sort of protected it's protected grounds. It's not necessarily an official status. And what they're doing is they're getting ready to send individuals who could not be removed to their own countries, because that's what withholding of removal does. It stops the individual from being removed to their country because they are going to face certain harms. And right now, what's happening is they are working to send people to third countries. And the scary thing about it is they are sending people to third countries and not allowing them to freely leave those third countries. So that, they're going to countries that they have no clue, they don't speak the language. And now there are reports that they're still being kept in prison like conditions. So in a situation like this with the withholding of removal, that may be what is happening. Is they're aiming to send your friend to a third party country. Now, if your friend has been detained for a year and 4 months and has not been removed, has withholding of removal, this is where you need to talk to an attorney. There are ways to get relief. For example, to file a habeas in this case may be appropriate, but they absolutely need to have access to counsel. And that's what I've been saying before. That's what I've been noticing. Counsel access, once one person is detained, access to counsel is very hard. And because of that, you don't have the ability to defend yourself against deportation. So this is where it's very important to weigh your options before anything like that happens. Get started on an option that can give you an advantage. and build a relationship with an attorney that you can call in case something happens. That attorney can hit the ground running. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments. That's why I'm here. Just put it in the comments. You don't even have to ask me to put it in. I have marriage-based green card pending. I want to visit Canada for 2 days. Is it dangerous? You now, if you have a green card application pending, an adjustment of status, you cannot travel without an adjustment, without a travel document. If you travel outside of the country while your adjustment of status is pending, they will deny your adjustment of status. And when you're trying to get back in, they may not let you back in. So, is it dangerous? It just depends on your personal risk. Um, this pause applies to Mexico waiting for interview and Mexico consul. So that comes in from USCIS. What we do is we go ahead, we make sure we submit a solid case, and we manage the case. We represent the client through the entire thing. The advantage of that is if a request for evidence comes in, even a notice of intent to deny, which under this administration is becoming the norm, we're ready to into action. You basically have 30 days to respond to this, and if you don't respond, it's a sure denial. And so getting an attorney to quickly jump in, especially during these busy times, and respond to things like that on short notice is very difficult right now. So get in touch with us and let's talk about whether you qualify for something, and then let's move forward, but knowing that you have representation. Going to these individuals, these notarios, these people who say that they can file it on the cheap. Some of them aren't even cheap, by the way. There's a scammer up in New York, not an attorney, and I believe her fee was like $15,000. So these people are not cheap, but I don't know why individuals go to people that charge that kind of money and they don't have the credentials behind their name. If something happens at the immigration, they can't jump in and help. And it turns out, by the way, many of them are scammers, like this person that was charging $15,000 in New York per application, charging $15,000, fraudulent applications, right? Causing a lot of people a world of pain right now. So make sure you talk to an attorney and retain an attorney. Can my friend travel to any of the 50 states vacation? She has no criminal record. I wouldn't be able to answer that individually. Maybe it just depends on the risk level. Do you have any updates on work permit renewals? Is the process taking long? Yes. So the update we have is not great. So now they're putting all these applications back through FBI background checks that will further delay benefits like the work permit. Thanks so much for the love on TikTok. I appreciate that. Okay. So, if you once you have a criminal offense, even if you were not convicted, you were detained, you need to talk to an attorney because a misstep there can cost you. So get in touch with us, talk to us individually so we can figure it out and help you move forward. How common is it for USCIS to ask to look through your phone? It's not, well, in my years, my past 13 years of practice, they've never asked me to well, not me, they wouldn't ask me, but my clients to look through their phone. Now, going through the airport, that is very common for them to go through the phone, confiscate your phone and keep it for some time to try to get information off of it. That's very common. My qualifying relative for 42B is aging out on 7/31/26. She was 18 on 11/21/23 when it was verbally granted by IG. So, in that case, if you need to talk to your counselor about that because that's very specific and a specific issue that needs to be dealt with. What if you did the biometrics for citizenship already? That's great. You're moving forward in the process. No, they're probably going to put your application through the stringent FBI background database. So, as usual with everything else, expect delays. Hi, Sasha. Did my thanks so much, Kay Car, for all the gifts and I appreciate it. Hi, Terry. Did my interview over a month ago, no response. Is that normal? Yes. So right now they're pushing applications backwards. So even if you went to the interview, even if you got an approval, they're now saying, okay, if you're going to approve this application, you have to put it right back through the background check because we want to do additional screening before approving, which is very frustrating, but this is what's going to happen now. So it's going to delay cases even further. Had marriage-based AOS petition denied based on petitioner withdrawing petition. Any hope for me? Yes. Let's talk about what your situation is. There may be options, but I need to understand the facts to be able to determine how to move forward. I have had cases like that where the spouse intentionally sabotaged my clients at the interview by withdrawing the application. And so in that case, they were mistreated by the spouse, and we were able to get them follow-up. So we want to talk to you though to make sure that the facts do qualify you for that. The person did biometrics from February, so what do you think will be the next step? I'm not sure where you are in the process, Carrie Ann. I'd have to know what kind of application it is. Need more information about for a work visa for a minister pastor to bring 4 to 8 over the R visa. Get in touch with us and we can talk about it. The R visa. An IR2 visa category affected, applied last year. If you are in a country, one of the 75 countries, that is going to be impacted. It's an immigrant visa, so it's going to be impacted when it comes time to grant it. How do you apply for a working visa in the US? Usually you have to find an employer. It just depends on your qualifications, though, to determine how to move forward. My case sent in from March 28th. Should I get back a response in 2 weeks? So it depends on what kind of case. For a while, we were getting receipt notices for in 4 months, even 6 months. So it depends. We're seeing them get a little better now. Which form should be filed for a handicapped child? I'm not sure what you're referring to. I mean, it should be if you're sponsoring your child, any form, applicable form for the benefit. The UK stopped giving students loans to immigrants. Okay, so we're not in the UK. Does visa application open? No. It depends on which country. If you're in a part of the pause, if you're part of the immigrant visa pause or the ban, then that has continued. That has not changed. All right, I'm gonna come here on Instagram. I'm gonna answer some questions. I see some questions. I'm gonna start from the top and go down. Thanks for the love. 6.1K likes on TikTok. Will the same fingerprint be added to the T visa like how they added it to the I-765 that was filed with the packet, seeing that USCIS send a letter stating no? Yes. Once you get the biometrics reuse notice, that usually means that they're going to apply it. For someone inside the US, is change of status from F1 OPT to H1B affected by the visa ban for the 75 countries? No, because it's H1B is a non-immigrant visa. Do you do VAWA? Yes, that's one of our main case types. We're very good at it. Give us a call so we can talk to you more about it. Now, staff is available right now to take your call. Go to, you'll see the number going across the screen on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Hi there, everybody on YouTube, Facebook. I'm going to come over to you very soon. Hi, Damien. And hi, Jill. Nice to see you, Jill. Thanks so much for the blessing. Same to you. Hi, Sarah. All right. So the H-1Bs are non-immigrant, so you don't have to worry about that. Will this, so I answered that. Let me see. Scrolling through on Instagram. Put your questions in the comments. I put in my case from March 28th. I didn't receive a receipt notice. Go ahead and contact them. Sometimes it can take up to 4 months. I mean, I noticed they've gotten better now, but you have to contact them directly. Also, if you have proof of delivery, also check to make sure it went to the right address. I'm British early years teacher and my husband is Nigerian. I want to apply for the EB2 green card. How long do you think it will take and will my Nigerian husband be refused? So I'd have to look at, no, it's a partial ban for Nigeria. So I'd have to look to see if the immigrant visa is included. I believe it's non-immigrant visas, but let me look at um, if they're on the 75 country list, it's definitely the immigrant visa. So yes, if your spouse is on your application, they will be denied. They will not necessarily be denied because keep in mind this isn't a ban; it's a pause, and so they would put a hold on the decision until the pause is lifted. So how long will it take? So I would estimate the entire process could be 2 to 3 years if you're outside of the US. For someone who had a J1 visa, how long does it take to apply for asylum? So you're just gonna have to apply like anybody else. Make sure you meet the deadline to apply, which is within 1 year of your entry. It doesn't mean you can't apply late, but you have to make sure you give a good reason for applying after that deadline, or else they will deny it. Uh, you're very welcome. Okay, so you're South African, still in the US. So give us a call and let's talk to see what your facts are and make sure you're on track. All right. Thanks so much for the love on TikTok. After USCIS approved the I-130, what would be the next step or how long for that process? If so, If you're outside of the US, it's going to go to the National Visa Center. If you have a current priority date, they're going to process it. If you don't have a current priority date, it's going to sit there and wait until you get a current priority date. Then they're going to open up the portal, invoice you for the immigrant visa application and the affidavit of support, and then request additional documents. You're going to prepare all the documents they need, and then there it's going to go through an approval process. Once the NVC approves it, then it goes to the embassy and then it sits there and waits for an interview to be scheduled. That's if you're outside of the US. If you're in the US, then you should be, and you qualify, you should be filing adjustment of status. How's the T visa going? No, just see that judge block immigrant process. Is this true? So I'm not, no. So I haven't seen where the a judge has blocked immigrant processes. So uh, the judge has stated that the administration unlawfully paused applications in New York for 83 plaintiffs, right? So it doesn't mean it's everybody, but the judge has ordered that they have to make a decision on those cases. So nothing about the judge blocking immigrants. You'll have to give me more specific details on what you found. Is it advisable to file N400 as a Nigerian? So right now the case would be slow and delayed because of the pause or the ban right now. That you can expect extra scrutiny on your application, but if everything is okay, there's nothing in your background, go for what you qualify for. Even if there's something in your background, seek out um, whether you can still apply, whether there's a way around it. Hi there. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm good. Uh, all right. So let's come back to YouTube and Facebook. I can see your message. Yes, Sarah. My N400 has was denied because the reason said lack of good moral character. I didn't know I was allowed to apply for more than one address, so they are saying I didn't disclose all the address. They told me I can reapply after 5 years. Oh, you need to give us a call. Yeah, you need to give us a call. We need to talk this through because if they denied you for failure to change address and said that that means that you lacked good moral character, I need to find out more for sure. No, there is a process to have your application reconsidered. This is where you have to act fast though. So give us a call and let's talk through it. So a jealous friend also lied about me and to immigration that I was dating him, which was not true. I was married by then. Do you handle complex cases like this? Yes, absolutely. So we want, and this is an example, guys, of what they're doing now. So between failure to change your address, I guess, or update your address, and um, I guess talking to an individual who claimed that you dated them while you were married, this is what they're doing. So it's getting very personal. They are going and talking to your neighbors. They're going into your community and doing investigations. And when they come up to conclusions like this, it's sort of like they're more judgmental without any kind of basis in law, right? It's just very personal. So get in touch. Let's talk and see. Let me just sift through this to understand more and see if there's what we can do. Uh, what is the process after you get a biometrics appointment? So, um, for the T visa. So then afterwards, usually the bona fides come with the work permit, and then after that, you wait a little longer, and then you get a final decision in the T visa. It's a 12-month for a VAWA work permit. Is that normal? Go to uscis.gov, go to case processing times, go to I-765 form, and you'll see the timeline. Unfortunately, I would say that is normal. Which one is better? Hi there, Anika. Which one is better for EB2 and IW to file or separately? So it's always better to file together. Absolutely. So once, but you just have to make sure you qualify for both adjustment of status and the I-40 at the same time. Uh, the reason being, filing an I-140 alone is not going to get you to the green card. The I-485 is what does that. So if you qualify for it, it means that you'd be on your way to getting the green card as soon as your petition is approved. It's a consultation free. So once the appointment is scheduled with us to go into a strategy session, so I, as the attorney or another attorney here at the firm, then there is a 250 fee, but we do an initial evaluation to make sure that it's likely you qualify so that we can hit the ground running and talk about strategy in the appointment. I did biometrics for VAWA I-765, I-131, and I-485, but no update yet. When can I expect to see an update? So usually after the biometrics, you don't see an update until, the next thing comes along. Okay. Is it safe to travel on overstay visa with an approval letter? Once you say you've overstayed, that your risk goes up very high. Oh, thank you so much, Edward. Thank you. All right, I'm on Instagram now. I'm just going through looking. All right. Thanks for the love on TikTok. Thanks so much. Okay, if we have an appointment for marriage-based green card in El Salvador on 5/18, how will this pause affect? If El Salvador is on the list, I'd have to check. Then they would do the interview, but they are not going to issue an immigrant visa until the pause is lifted. So they're still moving forward with processing. It's just that when it comes to a final decision, they're not issuing those. So it's really frustrating. Our VAWA case is paused. VAWA, yes. So pause. I wouldn't. They're pushing it back. They're delaying it. All of these cases, so green cards, citizenship cases, petitions, they're pushing them back to be able to push them through the FBI background check again. So yeah. Now, one thing I do want to emphasize here is don't let delays or pause stop you from applying, because you could actually be compromising your own chances by delaying applying for something that you qualify for. What's the processing time to receive a green card through T visa after applying? So you can expect it to be about a 2-year process, but keep in mind I don't control processing times. They're always subject to change, and you can always go to uscis.gov, go to case processing times, and look at the I-485 processing time. And you'll see the longest time, the shortest to the longest time it takes to wait for that. decision in the T visa. I have interview for my 6-year-old boy, green card holder, my husband is citizen. What can I do to avoid? So I'm not sure. What can I do to avoid this pause on the visa? So if it's at the embassy, there really is not anything that can be done right now. If you're in the United States doing adjustment of status, they wouldn't pause. They wouldn't pause that decision there because the immigrant visa is for those who are outside of the U.S. So cases. What's happening is that cases are being put back. So even cases, so basically they're saying any cases that you would approve or that are pending need to go backwards to go do another, be run through another FBI background check, a more detailed background check before they can approve it. So ultimately it's causing a delay in cases, so like a pause and a delay, because they're saying even if it was approvable and it was right on the brink of being approved, they're going to stop and push it back. So they're pausing that approval process, pushing it back for extra background checks. And so we can expect months of delays again because of that. Is it best to withdraw your case if your lawyer misrepresented you and you have annoyed? That really is going to be a question for an appointment because we'd have to understand all the facts there. If no, if your application isn't true, then withdrawal may be your only option. But get in touch with us, schedule time to talk about your options. And if the lawyer defrauded you too, if it was a lawyer, because sometimes people say these are lawyers and they're not lawyers. But regardless, if you were the victim of fraud, we'd want to hear more facts to determine whether there's some kind of relief for you. Um, my sister has an interview next month for F1. What will be the results? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I can't predict the results because I'm not your attorney. Hopefully, I'm going to say a prayer. Hopefully, it's going to be a good result. Just make sure you prepare, have everything ready, proof of funds, make sure you can show that they don't have immigrant intent to be approved for that. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for me this Friday. Thanks so much for your time. Um, so whenever it comes to questions about forms, I don't talk about like specific answers for forms because I have to know your case to be able to understand that. This is where if you're asking, like, should I put not applicable? You need to talk to an attorney for sure because you don't want to mess up there. All right. Thanks everybody for your time. Have a good weekend. I may hop on over the weekend. So as I always say, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. That's how people will see the live. They will see that I come on and give information that can be helpful. And you can also see when I come on, you can hop on and ask your questions. I aim to be here Mondays through Fridays. So, just make sure you take those steps so we can continue to see each other throughout the week. All right. Have a good one, guys. Bye bye.